All right, welcome into hour two. Let's shift gears to linebacker, Emilio. I did the same project here with linebacker. And then again, it could be two linebackers on the Packers roster. It could be a free agent linebacker. We're strictly comparing who would you rather have here, okay, to play linebacker. You had to choose one of these two players. Here are the numbers. And to me, it wasn't even close. I don't know who the knuckleheads are that chose player one. I think they were just trying to be different. Hey, more power to you. Which linebacker would you prefer to have on the Green Bay Packers roster in 2025? Player one allowed a 100.9 passer rating allowed and had a 15% run stop rate. His cap hit $4 million. All right. Player two, a 57.1 passer rating allowed. I'm going to say it again, 57.1 passer rating allowed and a 26% run stop rate. Guys, that's more than a quarter of the run defense snaps. He is stopping the run from getting to 4 yards. And his cap hit was only $2 million. Which player would you like to get there, Amelia?
I would take player two. Please. Exactly. Thank you. Who they are is a different question. I'm thinking two is probably Coop. Doesn't look like by your face I'm right on that one.
It is. It's
okay. Player one, it's a toss-up between – I was thinking Isaiah McDuffie for some reason, but I don't think that's correct. I think it could be Quay, but I don't think that his cap hits at $4 million. The only other one would be your boy Wagner if you're trying to make a point, but him losing this battle doesn't help your point. So I'm going to go with Quay.
It was Quay. Quay's cap hit is $4.4 million, and that's why I was saying I was trying to keep it a little vague to not give it away. So this is what we're talking about, the conversation between Quay and Edgerrin Cooper. Guys, it's not even close. And I'm glad Tim was off tonight. So we did,
I'll defend Quay for Tim. I'll defend Quay once we're done here.
And I guarantee you, if you ask Tim, you got to choose between Quay or Edgerrin Cooper to keep on your roster. He's going
right.
Don't take that the wrong way. But the point here is what Edgerrin Cooper did. This is not new.
It was different for sure.
This is wild. The Quay, the passer rating when targeted. Here's the thing. Quay is really good at covering vertical routes, damn good at covering vertical routes. Cooper, I would rather have on Tampa 2, right? Him covering the seam on Tampa 2, that mid-zone read. But if they're both on the field, I would rather Quay take that responsibility and let Coop roam underneath, me personally. Yes. And again, I've talked about the fifth-year option. I hope they don't pick up the fifth-year option on White or Quay. But I think they're going to pick it up at least temporarily for at least one of those guys, me personally.
Yeah, we want that dozen.
We want those 2 dozen. We double
that's
down.
Right. It's 2 dozen. I can't wait. You're right, because my only rebuttal is, hey, I like when Quay is on the field giving Edgerrin that freedom. If Quay comes off the field and Edgerrin starts to float towards Quay's numbers, that's a negative effect, I feel like. I would, unless someone can, produce better than Quay and still allow Edgerrin to do those things, I'm still okay with keeping Quay there and just kind of shoring that up.
Yeah. For me personally, I don't think Quay is the dude. Now, I'm not saying the Packers don't see him as one of the long-term answers. I would not be surprised at all if they extended him. I really wouldn't.
Mm-hmm.
I would like to see them take a couple swings this year, and we're going to talk about why here in a second if we have time. Matter of fact, I won't put it on the screen. Remind me, Amelia, I'm going to go back to an NFL.com article. Remind me that. Let me hit Mike Witt's super chat. Here, thank you so much for the support here, Mike. He says, Bucky Brooks has us drafting cornerback Barron from Texas. Don't know much about him, but I really like the cornerback from East Carolina, talking about Siobhan Reveal, I'm sure. Jahdae Barron is who we're talking about, right?
That's correct.
Yeah, Jahdae Barron on our board is the 22nd best prospect. So he's right there. If they took him, that's right on the money.
Right behind Malachi Starks, who we were just talking about.
Same, pretty much they're less than a little more than 1 point difference when it comes to our grading system. So they're in the same. Actually, you would put Malachi Starks in the tier above, but when you're looking at a player in this tier, you look at the grade, you go 1 point difference. Treat it like a cluster buster, right? So again, the whole purpose of the tiers, and when we do those horizontal lines separating the tiers, is so you can kind of see where the value is at each specific position.
Right. And looking at that, looking at the two, Clay, the difference between DJs and 33rd is literally just flipped. Like Malachi Starks on DJs is 33rd, with the 33rd team having Malachi Starks at 6th. And then Jahdae Barron on DJs is 9th, with the 33rd team having him at 34th. So it's wild how like they're so similar, but so, different, honestly.
Yeah. They canceled each other out, didn't they?
Right, exactly.
That's really interesting. And then Dane Brugler, of course, has Jahdae Barron at 40. He has Malachi Starks at 14, so he's significantly higher on him, right? And neither of those guys were at the Senior Bowl or the East-West Shrine Bowl, so we'll see if they get a combine bonus when they do that or their pro day, what have you. So, So again, Mike, thank you so much for the super chat there, buddy. We appreciate it, man. Greg Rice says, how is Quay's passer rating allowed too good when I don't know if he's saying not good, maybe when PFF kills him in pass rating? I don't know what's PRA.
How's Quay's passer rating when passer rating allowed not too? I would think not too good when PFF kills him in passer rating allowed.
See, that's the thing. This is where I part ways with PFF. If what you're asking there, Greg, is how is NFL Pro have the passer rating, at some point, and PFF has it somewhere else, they're different in a sense.
Right.
NFL Pro, we've got every single reception that's attached to these players, and we can determine, was that a reception on him? Was that a touchdown on him? Like if you guys listen to Ryan, I'm sure you guys do, Ryan Schlip, Packernet Podcast. We're a part of the network. He does a phenomenal job. Guys, just search anywhere you get your podcast, Packernet Podcast. That's where you'll find this in podcast form, as well as his show that's way better than this, because this show sucks. Scan the QR code in the upper right. That'll send you right to Packernet Podcast on all platforms. He talks about this all the time. Like there was somebody last year that had a touchdown counted to them, Javon Bullard. PFF had slapped the touchdown on him, and he's like, there's no way that touchdown should have been on Javon Bullard. But there's no way to combat that. And again, they don't show you the tape. Ryan just happened to know, well, Hart, it had to be that specific play. And he disagreed with the fact that the touchdown should have counted toward him. Exactly. So PFF gets a little murky there. It really does. Now, when you talk about how is Quay's passer rating allowed so good when PFF kills him in passer rating, that passer rating allowed, that 100.9, that's not good being in the hundreds. That's bad. The higher the number, the worse, in case I didn't specify that. He may be misreading that aspect, but so I don't know, man. It's just one of those things. I try to look at run defense and passing defense when it comes to backer, because it's so important to be a passing league. And notice I didn't mention pressure, quarterback pressure percentage. I don't care about that from a stack backer, because when you blitz a stack backer, it's not necessarily about beating your one-on-one matchup, although those opportunities will present themselves. A lot of times you're running a loop, you're running a scrape, right? You're freeing that dude up, or you're having him going first to free up the backside loop off of a defensive line. So I don't put as much concern in that.
Right. I feel like as a stack backer, you're either almost getting the sack, or you're sacrificing your body to allow somebody to get the sack. Like you're basically 50-50 on that, like every time. But I like how Hafley schemed up Coop so well, because he liked that, because there was a little bit of freedom on the backside, because he had maybe trust in Quay, something along those lines. I think that's the option. I'm excited to see what he dials up for him this year.
All right. Yeah. Hit that super chat for me real quick if you can, Emilio. Read it to me. And I'll put up
Mike Witt, appreciate you, man. Thank you. He said, I wouldn't mind taking a flyer on a cheap deal with Dre Greenlaw to see what he's got left.
So Dre Greenlaw,
ankle injury, right?
Correct. Well, the Achilles. Right?
Tore his Achilles. Gotcha.
And it sounded like when he tried to come back last year, he wasn't completely right. And they tried to put Dre Campbell back in. Dre Campbell said, "No, you didn't want me before.
I'm taking this off. I'm out of here.
Yeah, I'm out. See you." So in 2022, Dre Greenlaw was the 9th highest rated linebacker according to PFF. In 2023, on 999 snaps, he dropped to the 23rd best. Now, that's a solid starting linebacker. He's 27 years old, right? So he should have a little bit more gas in the tank. So he did tear his ACL. Is that what Holmes is saying? So hold up a minute. Dre Greenlaw tore his ACL after he ruptured the Achilles going back on the field for the Super Bowl. Is that correct? Is that?
Wow.
I think we're talking about the same person.
Yeah, let me double check.
Yeah. Greg Rice says, was Greenlaw the guy that blew his Achilles? You guys correct me if I'm wrong. Greenlaw was the dude in the Super Bowl, not this year, but last year, that went to run on the field and popped his Achilles, right? Am I thinking right? Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. So now the question is, as Holmes says, he's coming off an ACL. Or are we sure about that? Okay. He said, I may be wrong, but I thought it was an ACL, but it might be Achilles. Yeah, it was his Achilles that he tore in the Super Bowl.
Tore left Achilles. Dre Greenlaw was unable to finish all 4 quarters. That was December 22nd and 24.
Okay.
Right.
So here's what we got. It says Greenlaw worked his way back from an Achilles injury he suffered in the Super Bowl last February, but he was shut down after only 34 snaps in 2024. He will still likely see a lot of interest in free agency. He excels in coverage, having earned PFF coverage grades of 82.6 and 79.5 over the past 2 seasons. So
I got it.
Yeah. So no worries. Holmes, appreciate you. Like I said, trying to.
So what I was reading was that was in December of this past year. He tried to play and was unable to finish all 4 quarters because it didn't feel right or something. I'm not sure, but so when he came back from the injury after the Super Bowl, and
again, think about Dre Campbell, man. Think about how he handled that. Like in his mind, he had to be thinking, "I'm better than Dre Greenlaw. I deserve to be out there." The hell are you smoking, bro? Like you own that good stuff. To think that you're a better linebacker than Dre Greenlaw. That's just wild to think. The ego, man. Everywhere he's gone, it's someone else's fault, And I was a big, big defender of him, man. Really big defender of him. I got to meet him at a restaurant in Green Bay. I took Mandy to this real nice restaurant downtown Green Bay. He walked in, shook hands with him, just down to earth dude. I'm like, man, I really like this guy. He turned out to be an ass, like seriously. And I can't sugarcoat it. I don't know what else to say, but I will say this: the projected contract, according to PFF, and this doesn't mean it's going to be accurate, is 1 year, $6 million for Dre Greenlaw. Who was it in the chat that put that up about Greenlaw?
That was Mike in his super chat.
Mike, if you can get Dre Greenlaw for 1 year, $10 million, sign me up. They got it listed at 1 year, $6 million. If you throw Dre Greenlaw in there, Emilio, listen, hear me out here. I'm spitting.
Then we don't get to take Jay Higgins, though, Clay. Then what are we going to do?
Listen, we need 2. We need 2, sir. And thank you for reminding me on the article just now. I've seen that. This was the teams that were the best had the best tackling according to NFL.com. The Green Bay Packers were 7th this year. Guys, they were cheeks to your.
That's impressive.
Yeah. Tackling was a major strength for the Packers defense as they finished with the 7th lowest missed tackle rate at 11.9%. And keep that number in mind, guys, 11.9%, that's the team line. So anyone who has a lower missed tackle rate than that, that's good. You know what I mean? Kind of use that as
get that. Right. Yeah. They're helping the team get to that level. Right.
Yeah. And allowed the 5th fewest yards after missed tackles at 705. They were especially sharp down the stretch, leading the league with a 90.5% efficiency rate after their Week 10 bye to propel their playoff push. No Green Bay Packer defender eclipsed 15 tackles on the season, 15 missed tackles on the season, a testament to the unit's consistency across the board. And the team's leaders in that category, linebackers Isaiah McDuffie and Eric Wilson, who both have 14, are set to hit free agency, presenting a chance to upgrade the position's depth, kind of addition by subtraction if both of those guys leave. First-year coordinator Jeff Hafley has clearly put together a connected, fundamentally sound unit in Green Bay. I do want to mention this, though. Coach Camp's gone. We're going to find out, was that Coach Camp effect, Campanelli? Or you see what I'm saying? I'm not trying to be a Debbie Downer. I'm just saying, like, keep an eye on that as well. But the point there, Emilio, Isaiah McDuffie and Eric Wilson, I don't want McDuffie back. Nothing personal. He could run circles around me in his sleep, right? I'm not trying to say, oh, he's a bad football player. I know what, not saying that. I'm simply saying if you
could
keep
get burned on a wheel route just as bad as he did. No, I'm kidding.
Yeah.
It was against Saquon. It was a nice ball. But, yeah, I know what you're saying.
I love how you clean that up real quick. So Isaiah McDuffie walks. I'm okay with bringing Eric Wilson back on a minimal contract, right? But if you can go get Dre Greenlaw between $6 and $10 million on a 1-year deal, bro, and then you draft Jay Higgins, you understand how you improve your linebacker room again. And here's what the talk becomes now. Camp Battle, Quay Walker, Dre Greenlaw for that other nickel linebacker spot. And when you're in a base 4-3, when you're playing these 21 and 12 personnel teams that are, whatever, anywhere from 25 to 40% of the snaps on a team that runs it heavy like San Fran or maybe Detroit or Kansas City or somebody, you're going to have Quay Walker, Dre Greenlaw, and Adrian Cooper on the field at the same time. Bro, Dre Greenlaw is quickly becoming one of my favorite free agents. But there's also a chance that he goes out there and he can't do it anymore because of that Achilles. That's always a shot. There's always a chance there. So
Dre Greenlaw is your Bobby Wagner of this year, or is Bobby Wagner your Bobby Wagner of this year?
Bobby Wagner is the lady that's not interested in us. I think he's going back to Washington. Somebody's going to tag him in a tweet and go, Clayton called you a lady. No, don't get my ass kicked here. All right, that wasn't what I was saying. I'm simply saying I don't see any scenario where he plays for anyone other than Washington. He loves Washington. He loves.
It just worked. It worked. Yeah, it worked. I mean,
now, if you're making me choose, if you put me on the spot, do you want Bobby Wagner for a year or Dre Greenlaw for a year? I want Bobby Wagner. But I feel like it's going to be more realistic to get a Dre Greenlaw. But, man, if you get that, man, look, here it is. I love it. I was waiting on it, Greg. Is Wagner older than Dirt? Who is the old linebacker? He's older than Dirt, and he keeps playing better than the kids. That's what keeps happening every year. People said that to us last year, remember?
Yeah.
Oh, he's too old. He went out there and damn dominated all year long, bro. All year long.
So, he's not afraid to hit either. It's not like he's going out there and just doing the motions.
Holmes says he's my age, Greg. So, come on. He's not 70, Holmes. Quit being like that. That's a joke, by the way. So, yeah, man, I'm glad he brung up Dre Greenlaw. When you look at it from that perspective, go draft a Jay Higgins or a Stutzman, somebody like that, and then have Dre Greenlaw added too. Boy, that'd be a lot of fun.
Would you okay, let me ask you this. Would you rather add like a Dre Greenlaw versus like a Khalil Mack? Like, would you rather add a stack backer or are we add an edge talent?
If you're saying I would have to choose between Dre Greenlaw and Khalil Mack, I'm taking.
Right. Let's say they're both going to get paid the same. We can get them both in here the same, the same amount or whatever time frame. I know Khalil's got a little bit more age to him, but whatever works out to make it even for both of them. Which would you choose?
I pick Khalil Mack.
I love that.
It's a more important position.
I love that, and
it might be able to free up LV in a little bit to kick inside a little bit more and see if you can bleed into that a little bit. It's a more important position.
That was going to be my choice. I really thought you were going Greenlaw there after you had me on the sales pitch there, bringing in the young talent. He was all ready to go. He's, if I can get him for a steal, but no, I felt the same way. Let's bring in a veteran talent that has been performing, knock on wood, been nice and solid, showing up, is on the field a lot. I think that would be key. Like you said.
Let me show you this though. 7 million, 8 million, 5 million, 5 million, 5 million, 3 million, 2 million to a total of 32 million plus 29 million in cap space. You're looking at potentially over $50 million in cap space. Why not have both? Why not go get Khalil Mack and Dre Greenlaw to the tune of, $26 to $30 million in cap this year, right? And then you look up and you got another $20 million in cap. And okay, if you want to go get a player here, a player there, you can piece it together. Goody's talking about being aggressive. I think he's BSing us, but I hope he's being honest. What if you went that route and you got Khalil Mack and you got Dre Greenlaw, right? Shoo-wee, man. And then you turn around and you draft a Kenneth Grant, a Walter Nolan, one of these top defensive tackles, right? Tyleek Williams, TJ Sanders, Omar Norman Lott a little later, man. I don't know if you heard of the morning show, but Omar Norman Lott in that upper quadrant of that graphic we showed earlier today.
Dog, I'm telling you, he's been tearing it up down here. Been tearing it up down here, Clay.
And bro, he is so low on our board. So low. Why is he so low, Emilio? I explained it this morning. Let's just recap it real quick. Why is Omar Norman Lott so dang low?
We have him at 121. His PFF 23 grade was 227th. His 24 grade was 327th. But Big Board had him at 50th. Consensus had him at 63, 33rd team 58th, and Dane at 78th. So he has struggled because of that PFF grade previously.
So this is what we're talking about. PFF gave him a low grade, and that's why he's low on our board, right? But PFF, pass rush win rate here, I'm pretty sure this is a PFF, per PFF. The data came from PFF up here. Omar Norman Lott is the third best according to pass rush win rate to run stop rate. Why the hell is his grade so low? You said 24, right?
Correct.
If those numbers are through the roof. Was it penalty?
He was 327th and 24.
You understand what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
It makes no sense. And that's why, again, PFF isn't everything. But what if you get that dude a little later too? And I think somebody in here asked, where's Gary going to play? Gary's going to play where he always plays, Chuck. He's going to play edge too. Gary's playing 50-something% of the snaps. Was it 58% of the snaps, if I remember correctly? Let me just double check here real quick. Play time. Rashawn Gary, 58.4% of the snaps. When you go to play time, I don't know why it always does that. It drives me insane. It always resets on me. If you go to play time for our boy or the entire defense, Xavier McKinney played 98% of the snaps. Keyshawn played 93% of the snaps. There's value there. Quay played 88%. Ja played 83%. Javon Bullard, 81%. And I believe that's playtime percentage if they're healthy, if they're available, okay? Carrington Valentine, 64%. Isaiah McDuffie, 64%. Kenny Clark. The fact that Isaiah McDuffie is so much higher than Edgerrin Cooper just pisses me off.
Right.
But, yeah, to get down here, when it comes to edge defenders, Rashawn Gary had the most snaps amongst all edge defenders on the team at 58.4%. Then it was Preston Smith at 53.7. Then it was Kingsley Nabari at 46.8. Then it was Lucas Van Ness at 39.3. So essentially what you're going to do is you're going to replace Preston Smith's 53.7% with Khalil Mack. So Khalil Mack will be in Preston Smith's place there, okay? And LVN will probably hover around 40% there is how you would approach that. And maybe even kick inside if you want to create a NASCAR package on those heavy passing downs, And Chris in here, Matt LaFleur loves the hockey line rotation with the edge / defensive ends. It's true. Emilio, I like it to a certain extent, but also I understand the frustration there because if Gary had played the same percentage of snaps that Max Crosby had played, he would have finished with over 10 sacks, and we'd be talking a lot different about Rashawn Gary this year.
Mm-hmm.
That was the sack rate that he was on pace for. I mean, Max Crosby played like 98% of the snaps in 12 games for them. And he ended up out-snapping Rashawn Gary, who played 17 games. So,
keyword 12 games. I mean, that's. Would you rather have Rashawn for every game, or would you rather have him for 2/3 of the game?
So you're saying that heavy snap percentage led to injury, right?
I'm not saying. I'm just saying a possibility, right? I mean, wear and tear, and that's where you're thinking it's a long season. Why do I want to burn him up? If we needed Rashawn on the field. And we weren't an 11-win team, third place of the division. I mean, we already are in the play. Like, if that was the case, I think they would run him a little longer. I think we would get him 60-40, 70-30, something like that. But I'm all about that rotation. I'd rather than be at 100% or 95%, stamina at that point versus 60 and giving me, on-off plays.
Right. And that's the whole reason I brung up this conversation here was Chuck asking, where's Gary going to play?
Right.
All you're going to do is throw Khalil Mack into that hockey line.
Yeah, that's it.
And I know people, Khalil Mack's
another forward.
Khalil Mack is still grading out elite too. Like, if he drops into the 70s, guess what? That's an improvement over what we got of edge defenders that's not named Rashawn Gary. And, oh, by the way, LVN may take that next step this year. Right. Mm-hmm. He finished at damn near 12%. Most of the season, I think he cracked 12 and he was hovering around 12. He finished at like 11.3% pressure or something like that.
Mm-hmm.
So I'll tell you what we could do.
And I think that's a couple. I think that's a great point. Couple more points from the chat here. 12 for this. I think good point. I'm curious if Gary's rotation was to conserve his knee after the ACL. That's fair. It feels awkward running on that thing, but watching some of those explosive videos he had in the offseason and stuff, he still had that explosion, but it's just getting past that mindset. And then Prince here said entire D-line were holdovers from the previous system. Now they get a good look at how they fit Hef's defense by rotating. It's another great point. You can't know what you have unless you see them on the field. And, Hef can only watch so much tape of how they played in the 3-4 and wanted to see how they do in his system.
Yeah, definitely. Professor Case got a question. We're going to move on to Patreon real quick. I was going to pull up Khalil Mack tape. We'll do that another time. I want to see just how he dominated.
I like that.
Professor Cake says, PTA and chat, I have a question. Would you guys want Deebo Samuel? Me personally, no. I soured on Deebo real quick this year when he attacked his kicker and holder on the sidelines after a missed kick. Yeah, it's a no for me on Deebo. Yep. There's just been too much there. His mom, the agent, and you guys remember that whole fiasco? He gets the bag. All of a sudden, he's not the same player. How do you feel about it, Emilio?
I will pass.
All right.
Please and thank you.
Simple enough. Let's move on to the Patreon group. Josh Martin, appreciate you, buddy. He said, if you could trade up to the 4th spot somehow, Mason Graham, Travis Hunter, and Abdul Carter are all on the board. Who are you taking and why? For me, it's Graham. Getting that elite 3 tech is Super Bowl contender type of change this team needs. I would be okay with Abdul Carter or Graham. If you make me choose between those two guys, I'm going Graham. According to our board, Abdul Carter is better than Graham. He's got a 2.7 score, low number of wins, and Mason Graham's got a 4.1. But I feel like 3 tech is more important. They're in that same tier. I would probably go 3 tech there, Emilio. And again, that's with my mindset being go get Khalil Mack. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. What would your answer to that question?
I love that. And I do support what you say, and I think I would back that. But I'm gonna go Travis Hunter here.
Really?
I would take Travis Hunter because I have faith in how deep this draft is. If I'm at the 4th spot and I'm able to pick up a lockdown corner for the next 5 years plus, strap him, whoever is on the other side, we can shore up that bet. 100% our secondary would be absolutely elite. And then I would just go grab, Harmon because again, we just got done talking about a hockey line. It's not like they just do it with the edge. They're rotating those tackles in as well. You're not going to see Mason Graham out there hundreds, for every 65. I mean, the guy's going to get probably 20, 25 snaps a game. So I think I would go Travis Hunter, lock down the secondary, and keep everything in front of us.
Got it. We got one more question here, but I just pulled up Khalil Mack's tape in case we got time to just look at his sacks real quick. Rashawn Gary had more sacks than Khalil Mack. Rashawn Gary had 7.5. Khalil only had 6. Now, his quarterback pressure percentage is 15%. Rashawn's was 13 and some change. So he applied more pressure more often than Gary. But I think people don't realize how well Gary played last year compared to other edges across.
Coming off his injury, playing off of an injured ACL. Thank you. Yeah.
Jake Shavink said Hunter, and we're playing them both ways. I'm gonna tell you something, boys.
What if we had Hunter though playing corner lockdown and he had 20 snaps on offense, Clayton?
Listen to me, Emilio. If I was the coach, I would not do it. Okay, but if they did that, you talking about buying a jersey and being so damn excited. You're going to go back to, I'm trying to think of what year Charles Woodson was at Michigan. I want to say it was around 99, I believe, something like that, 99, 2000. I was in high school, and I'm telling you, it was all the rage. That interception going up. Have you ever seen that interception, Emilio?
Probably. I just don't.
You would know if you did.
Yeah.
I can't play it on here. When we get done.
Yeah, we'll watch it.
You're going to go, holy cow. Like that dude was unbelievable. Bates said 95 to 97, man.
Oh I said 97. See, I'm on it, Bates. I got you.
Get ready to go.
Jake Shavink, man. Bro, there's nobody I'd be more excited than to see Travis Hunter playing both ways.
Could you imagine Jordan Love just dropping a dime?
Yeah. And then him going out there and getting an interception, taking it to the house. And you know he's going to high step like Dion when he does. It's just coming. Oh, that'd be awesome. All right, anyway. With that being said, I wouldn't want that. Don't put that on me, Ricky Bobby, as a wise man once said. I wouldn't want to be the coach making that decision and him getting hurt and you wasted your number one pick, right? Mountain Man Pack says, I really like the film I see on Benjamin Morrison. Why wouldn't we draft him? Great question. Benjamin Morrison's one of those prospects that's all over the place, Emilio. If you'll look at our board and tell me where we got him and why we do, I'm going to pull him up on Dane Brugler's big board. He has him in the 55 spot. Okay, he's 6 foot 190. You guys know I'm a Notre Dame fan. I'm a big Notre Dame fan. I'm not as high on Benjamin Morrison as most people are. Hip injury. Let's assume he's healthy from the hip injury. Okay, what brings him down on our board? Where does he rank, and why does he get pulled down on our board, man?
Right, we have him in the 70th spot. Benjamin Morrison. He's an outside corner. 23, his PFF grade was 100, or I'm sorry, 103. 24 had the hip injury, ranked out at 330. PFF Big Board had him 15th. Consensus had him 22nd. Daniel Jeremiah had him 45th. 33rd team had him 38th, and then, like you said, Dane had him 55th. That PFF last year is really what is hurting him. That injury that's gonna hurt. That's something that we need to pay attention to. If he can come back from the injury, great. But you're gonna see maybe if he doesn't go to the scouting combine, maybe that's a sign. If he doesn't, like, those are kind of things that they probably take a little notice of. But what we did was we did include. Let me see if I can pull up hold on.
As you're doing that, if he fell to the second round, I'd be all about it.
Yes.
That 23rd pick, that's a no-go for me.
But so pulling up the PFF 22, he was 118 in 22. So 103 and 23. If he didn't get hurt, he probably was on track to close in maybe, top 100 corner. Mm-hmm. But the injury, man, it's something you got to keep in mind.
Yeah. And
he's strictly outside, right? We have him at a cornerback.
Yeah, and Jake says Morrison with a down/injured 24 after a very good 23, you say. Me personally, yeah, it kind of fits Jaden Reed mode, right? But at the same time, here's the problem I got with it. With the 23rd pick, you're going to take a player, right, who there were 102 other cornerbacks that were better than him his best year in college. That's just hard. Now, again, it's PFF grade, and we just got through bashing PFF too, so – right? You got to take that into consideration. We could dig into the passer rating when targeted and other metrics and see if there's something we're missing. But the other thing is, who's right there with him, Emilio? If I remember correctly, there's somebody on our board who's graded right there, maybe slightly ahead of him or slightly behind.
Ezra Thomas, cornerback outside Florida State, was at the Senior Bowl. His PFF 22, 568, 23, 217, 24, 151. PFF Big Board had him 95th. Consensus had him 61. DJ 43, 33rd, 73, and Dane 42.
Got it. Now, here's the thing about Azure. 6'2". Right? As opposed to Morrison 6 foot. That's another thing. But if I'm understanding you correctly, the PFF, well, I got it right here. Yeah, PFF grade, Benjamin Morrison in 2023 was better that year than Azure Thomas's best year in college. So PFF likes Azure a little bit better. It's funny we say that, but I hope we're saying that name right, Azure or Azare or whatever. 84th is where they got him on the big board, right? And they've got Benjamin Morrison 16th right now. And again, our board won't reflect that because we put the information in early, and we do that for a reason. So Jake says, I think he'll be available at 55. Totally good with it, Mountain Man Pack. If he's there at 55, we want to take him. What have we been talking about with our mocks, Emilio? If you don't get that corner in the second round, you find yourself kind of in no man's land, right?
Mm-hmm. So, but I don't have to worry about it because I already took Travis Hunter. So we're cooking.
Cooking with Crisco. All right, cool. Thanks to everybody in the Patreon group. Appreciate you guys and gals over there supporting. If you guys want to join, just go to patreon.com/ /Packer Fan Total Access, or you can scan the QR code that I'm going to throw up here in the upper right for the remainder. Actually, not for the remainder, just for a second. I want to keep it
or
up.
down here in the comment section. We can go down there and
absolutely just click more on the YouTube video. You'll see the Patreon group there as well.
Hit sub.
We're going to be doing another giveaway here soon. Go ahead, Emilio.
I said hit sub because
the best guy around.
Yeah. So we're going to be doing a giveaway for our Patreon group here real soon as well. I got to figure out what piece of memorabilia we're going to give away next. So.
I'm hoping I win one of these. I've been spinning on that wheel, man. I know Eric's got the thing rigged and everything, but
you're such a scumbag. You're not winning. If you win, the only thing we're going to allow you to do is pick the winner. We're going to force you to give it away.
On the spot? No way, dude. No, that mark, dude. If I had that 65% one, it would have been over. That thing wouldn't have left the house.
All right, I'm going to try to do this in a way that we don't get in trouble. All right. Okay. I'm going to go ahead and close everything else out. We're just going to end the show here real quick looking at Khalil Mack's sacks. All right.
Nice. Somebody else tried to do something without getting in trouble.
Duval.
Yeah, good luck with
that. Didn't work out too hot for him, right?
All right. So it won't be completely full screen, but here we go. We're going to watch Khalil Mack's 6 sacks from last year. Okay. Can you see that okay, Emilio? Is that all right?
Beautiful.
All right, here we go, guys. Let's watch it. He is over here playing a wide 9. I'm pretty sure you can't see my cursor. Right here. Yeah. So that's him right there, number 52, wide 9. Let's watch this sack. It's against the Raiders, obviously. Just straight power. Let's go. Bang. And listen, the quarterback did kind of step up into it, right?
Right.
Ball comes out different, and 93 really helped there right there as well.
They want to put Rodgers behind that offensive line?
Yeah, good luck with that. He's going to be cussing everybody. He's going to be telling everybody to snap the ball. All right, next sack. This is, again, who's this one against? This is against Justin Fields, our old foe. Looks like Khalil Mack, again, wide 9, playing right in from the defense's perspective. And they're in what looks like an under front. Notice the 1 tech opposite the strong side. So we're going to go 1 tech, 3 tech. When we talk 3 tech, guys, that's what we're talking about. That's your 3 tech right there, okay?
And you look at how important that is, though, Clay, right? He's overhead the guard, right? But he's got a tackle and a tight end on his outside and the center right next to him. I mean, that's why we're expecting so much out of that 3 tech. He's got a lot of ground and a lot of space to cover. And
if you're going to try to slide to protection and double team someone like Khalil Mack, then you're going to have to give this guy, you're going to have to give him up, right? Let's watch Khalil Mack over here. It's against the Steelers. 1 back set, out of the gun.
Oh.
Yeah, good burst. Good.
And roll it back because they sent the back to help the tackle. Mm-hmm. They sent the back to help that man, and he said, uh-oh. He got inside my boy. No.
And that's not as much about athletic ability as his awareness, right?
That's 10 years pro or however long he's been in the league. That's how he got that sack.
Absolutely. Yeah. Another good rep there. So there's sack number 2. All right. Let's move it along here to the 3rd sack, and this is going to be against Spencer Rattler. I will say this, if I'm playing kind of the skeptic here, these have been some bad quarterbacks he's sacking, right? Justin Fields, who is it, Gardner Minshew, I believe, right? And now you've got Spencer Rattler. But here he is now sliding over to the left, all right? Sliding over to the left, and he's playing wide 9 on the left. Now, keep in mind here.
And stand up, which he was just hand in the dirt 2 seconds ago.
Yep, so now you're showing a little hybrid approach, standing up. So this would be considered your 1 tech here, okay? Mm-hmm. Your 1 tech. Some would call that a 2-eye, but that's closer to a 1 tech than this 3 who's playing the outside shoulder of the guard on the opposite side. So in this case, Kenny Clark, Devontae Wyatt, you would have Rashawn Gary, and then, of course, Khalil Mack if you added him.
And this is a 2 tight end set with a, halfback right. So you got to it go either way.
Oh. Hey, he showed some speed there, bro. Look at that burst.
So get by that, man. Tackle didn't expect it. I mean, his feet were like in quicksand.
And you could tell he wasn't expecting the help on the outside. He was expecting the running back to help on the inside.
Right.
He just got beat like a damn drum, man. Spencer Rattler's like, I'm just going to lay down here. I ain't losing my life.
That's crazy.
He tried to get back up.
He just ran the wheel, right?
Yeah. Look, still, yeah. So they blew him dead. All right. So there you go. Let's see if this is a decent quarterback. Jameis Winston, we're seeing a theme here. I've got to point it out. All right, wide 9 left, hand in the dirt. All right, They're going to do a little shift here. This is kind of a little more of a balanced approach, albeit 2-eye, and then, of course, you got your 3 tech right here, right? So, again, think Kenny Clark, think Devontae White, think Rashawn Gary, think Khalil Mack. Here's Khalil Mack on the left.
Oh man,
that was a nice little fake.
He's still got an explosion. Let me tell you, the dude doesn't even know what happened. He doesn't even know.
Look at the tackle, bro. He is lost.
He's like, dude, can I block your man for a second? Like, I don't want to get in trouble, like not blocking anybody on this one.
His 77 witnessed the crime. Watch him. He's like, oh crap.
No.
Poor Jameis. Which, by the way, did anybody else see Jameis Winston down at the Super Bowl providing that entertainment? If you haven't seen it, just search Jameis Winston. It'll be all over Twitter. That dude needs to be an announcer or something when he's He is unbelievable. All right, here we go against the Patriots. This time, they're showing a little jam front. Look at this, Emilio. Kind of a little jam. What we mean by jam here, it's not quite a jam because this is a stacked backer covering up the tackle. But right here, think Rashawn Gary wide 9, Khalil Mack wide 9. You got a guy kind of playing nose or shade on the right shoulder of the center. And then, of course, you got another, it looks like a linebacker mugging right there if that ain't a pass rusher. But, again, watch Khalil Mack. Look at the burst. Oh, look at the jump. No one else has moved on the offensive line. Look at Khalil. The ball's in the quarterback's hand. But look at that jump from Khalil. Oh,
dude, he got there before Bosa.
Look at the running back. He's like, oh, crap.
The tackles didn't even move. They just gave up.
Yeah. So that, you could say, man, he's quick off the line, but also that you got to kind of throw it on the offensive line too, right?
Yes. I will say, though, he did beat Bosa around a tackle and threw a running back before Bosa got to the quarterback. So I'm not saying he's not slow.
Right. There you go. There's another one. Save Drake May. Look at the hashtag from Jake. Save Drake May. So that was your final one. So out of all the quarterbacks he sacked there, who was the best quarterback he sacked?
You're looking at him.
Drake May, rookie. It's worth mentioning, right? But again, when you looked at his numbers, Gary had 1.5 sacks more than Khalil Mack, but Mack hit the 15% pressure rate, and Gary was in the 13%. So I've always been told if they crack 10%, pretty damn good pass rusher. And that's what gives me hope about our boy LVN, who finished over 11%. So it's like, okay, maybe he's cutting the corner, I don't even know what to put in hour 2 here for the notes. We covered a lot of stuff there, didn't we? It was mostly defense, though, right? All defense talk.
Yeah.
Let's go defense talk and Khalil Mack. Khalil. So after we watch that, how do you feel about Khalil Mack? Are you still on board with signing him? Because it's probably going to take a $15 to $22 million for 1 year,
Bring him in.
Bring him in.
Bring him in. I like the technique. I like the explosion. I like I still like everything he still has in the tank. How he plays, his experience. I think that he can even help Rashawn. It's not like you're bringing in. That's somebody that can give years of experience and knowledge that he's learned from previous generations. I think that it would be more than beneficial.
2-0 for this says he keeps making the running backs look like mannequins. He really does. And I think part of that is intimidation too, Emilio. I think those running backs are going, that's damn Khalil Mack right there. This is going to suck.
And then if you're looking at it like, dude, all right, I don't want to, I'm coach, put me on the other side. I don't want to block Khalil Mack. And then it's like, dude, you got to block Rashawn Gary on that side. And then they're subbing in LVN. It's a long day at the office.
It really is. J. Cole says, Jameis Winston is hilarious, especially the interview he did after watching Torres Achilles. The other thing too, man, he's just like, I don't know if you guys seen him on the Pat McAfee show, but Pat McAfee and the boys, they like to make jokes about, religion. They crack their little jokes like some people do, and it's okay. I don't hold it against them. It is what it is. But I don't take offense to that stuff. I just think what I need to be a better person so they understand the truth. That's just me personally. But they were, they always do say a little prayer. They'll do that sometimes, and they'll kind of mock pray, They had Jameis do it. He killed it. And it literally after everyone was like, amen, 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 amen. Like, it was just so from the heart. Hey, look out for Pat and the boys. It was just awesome, man. Jameis Winston's a real deal. I hope he ends up being an announcer. 2-0 for this says Jameis Winston's like a puppy seeing snow for the first time. It's so true. So true. So there you go. 2-0 for this. Jameis Winston and Jamal Williams should be on the same team at some point. Wasn't they in? I think they were in New Orleans, maybe briefly.
They could have been. That's a crew right there.
Give me Joe Boogie and Jameis Winston on the call. I could care less about the professionalism. Let me watch a ball game, listen to them cut up. I'll crack open a daddy soda.
Jamal just wants to get home. He just wants to get home, eat a PB&J, and be with his cat, right? And that's like it. Anime, I think. That's simple.
Exactly. All right, guys, that's it. We appreciate everybody hanging out with us. This is a lot of fun. Emilio, thank you for your time, dude. Appreciate you jumping on here. As the guys they're being way better significant others than us, trying to get everything prepped. Like I said, I think Jacob probably loaded up our Larry McCarron pinky wheel and put all the ladies on it, and he's going to decide which one he's going to buy Valentine's.
Spin it 3 times, pick the winner, right?
Exactly. And if you don't like the winner, you can always spin it. It's probably
because it's rigged, right? That's how I get it.
Always rigged. Special shout out to Mike Witt. Thank you so much for the super chats tonight, buddy. You're always too kind. Everybody in the Patreon group, thank you. Everybody in the chat, you guys make this show what it is. Not the sucky part, the good part, and we really appreciate it. Hit sub, hit like, tell all your friends. If you don't have any friends, tell a stranger. Y'all have a good night.
Then we go. We out.
We're out. Bye, guys.